So let's go with the hypothetical of Tyson Fury actually stays retired. There's been a lot of discussion over the last 24-ish hours of where that ranks him all time.
I got it.
Yeah, I saw you in on there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So just real quick, the beautiful uppercut by him. I think the best right uppercut I've seen since Lennox, who had a great right uppercut. The other ones that come to mind is Joshua's against Klitschko and Wilder's against Ortiz in the first fight. Fury's, though, his was faster. Those guys are more heavy-handed, but Fury, there was like no fat on the bone. It was right up the gut. No, it wasn't. Some guys throw the uppercut from too far. Right up the gut. And he's really showed he's a complete fighter, because against Wilder with the ranginess and the length, he tried to smother him at times. And then against this guy, White, stay on the outside and use your length until the knockout came. So he could fight both ways. He really can. Sugar Hill Stewart's an amazing trainer. And then in terms of the all-time ranking, Carson, I'm gonna first I'll say the guys that he's definitely ahead of, and then I'll say the guys that he's definitely not ahead of, and then the guys that I think there's arguments. He's ahead of Jack Dempsey. He's ahead of Gene Tunney. He's ahead of Jack Johnson. He's ahead of Sonny Liston. He's ahead of Floyd Patterson. He's ahead of Michael Moore. He's ahead of Riddick Bowe. Here's the guys he's definitely not ahead of: Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, Lennox Lewis, Joe Louis, George Foreman, and Evander Holyfield. Here's the guys I think it's close. Here's where the debate happens: Joe Frazier, Rocky Marciano, the Klitschko brothers, and Mike Tyson. So if he, and I know some people go, really, Mike Tyson? Well, look, Mike in his biggest fights lost. Fury has won his. Mike's biggest wins were a blown up light heavyweight in Spinks and a 43-year-old Larry Holmes. But his secondary wins are stronger than Fury's secondary wins.
Your ass on a plane, though.
I know he will. But his secondary wins: Frank Bruno, Pinklin Thomas, Tony Tucker, Razor Ruddock. These are guys that are probably better than Dillian White and Derek Chisora. You know, Fury, Otto Wallin, Fury's secondary wins. But Fury's top wins are better than Mike's top wins, so it's close. With all those guys, you know, Frazier, Marciano, the Klitschko brother, it's close. So
SB, where you have him? You agree?
I agree with, I mean, he just took my job. So, I mean, he just laid it down. What do you say after that? However, I did notice that he put Riddick Bowe in the below Tyson Fury category. And I don't think that Tyson Fury could beat Riddick Bowe. And for me, again, when I always consider rankings, I always consider who someone can beat and cannot beat.
Right.
And with that being said, I would put Riddick Bowe right there in that category of he's close to being either below or above. Yeah, he's one of his contemporaries.
I think before he gets out of here, I still want to see him versus Usyk. Obviously, he destroyed our current day Mike Tyson and Deontay Wilder. But I would love to see him in a boxing fight with Usyk. Because I think that's exactly what we're getting, a lot of boxing. Two great boxers. And every time this guy gets in the ring, he amazed me how good of a boxer he is. Because if you seen him you line him up 5 boxers, and you pick who's the best boxer, he'd probably be the last pick. But the guy can box his ass off.
Yeah, and he doesn't box his ass off because his ass crack is always just visible enough.
He maybe he's a plumber.
Yeah. He's got the Homer Simpson butt crack always.
Maybe he's a plumber on the side. Okay,
yeah, maybe
his peak was the rematch with Deontay, that second fight, because that was the closest his body came to looking good, to being solid. You look at pictures from that rematch; he was solid that night. So I think that was the peak. He's still about 85% of who that guy was in the rematch.
What's up? I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Ed. Follow me on IG, Ed with 2 T's. Let's do it. Let's do it again.
All right. Just introduce yourself.
Okay.
And then you tell them what to do. I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Anthony Brenagh.
Carson Merk. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is the Porter Way.